Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and on this video you join me partway through a job that I've just started. I've realised I didn't do any recording and I'm like, oh no, I forgot to record it, so I'm just going to give you a little catch up on what I'm doing. I've only just started it, haven't been long at it. I'm doing the roof. I'm actually getting all the or ceiling, whatever you want to call it. I'm just doing the battens there, so I'm putting some 12mm ply battens across there, and as you can see I've previously riveted there, and there, so I've got 4 rivets in, and I'm going to be using some of these, and I've just got to tape up some of these holes, and then I'll show you actually what I've been doing and how I've made the battens. So I've got this Garnica lightweight poplar ply, 12mm, actually really nice quality. I picked up some of this and some 4mm, and I've already cut out 3 of the battens. I've measured them and cut them, and I'll show you how I've actually done the markings for them so I know exactly where the holes are going to be. So the idea was to cut some of these bolts down, the ones I'm using for the rivets, and I just put them in, he says, and you can't thread it in. You know, like sticking out a bit, and then I lined up the piece of wood where I wanted it. As you can see, it's already got the holes in it. Lined it up, and the first one I just sort of held it in place, banged it with a rubber mallet, and it made a mark on there. Then I drilled that, and then I fixed it to the roof. I then fixed it to the roof like that, and then sort of did that with each hole. Banged it all the way down. Then, rather than keep doing that, I just got the other 2, and the one that I'd already drilled the holes in, I just used it as like a template. I just clamped it to the other one and just drilled straight through, and then I've got 3 with all the holes in the exact same place, and I've checked them and they're all good. So that's pretty much where we're up to at the minute. So yeah, like I say, it was pretty quick catch up. So now I've just got to fit those and then work out fitting my actual roof that I've actually got the ply. I'll show you that. That's the ply I've got for the ceiling. It's the same stuff. It's the 4mm poplar Garnica lightweight stuff, 4mm that is. I got a few sheets, well I got like 5 sheets of that, and I got the 12mm, and I've also got some of this as well. That's what I got for the electrical board, 9mm. That hard, sort of like hard wearing, I don't know what you call it, there's a name for it, can't remember what it's called, begins with a P, can't say it though. So as you can see, I've now got all these beams up. I've actually attached my light temporarily again so I could use the van. I've got them all up and they're all coated in Osmo oil as well. So ready to get the roof panels made. So I just need to measure up for the roof panels, go and get them cut out of that 4mm ply. Well, I've been busy cutting some wood. I've cut all the pieces, I've cut it in, done it in sections, front to mid roof, middle roof, the back piece is behind there and the front piece is under there. The front piece needs to be scribed to the profile, that roof profile of the van. And to do that I bought myself one of these, a Trend Multi-Scribe Pro. There's a little beauty of a tool. I scribed it onto a piece of wood, and then I cut the piece of wood out to use as a template, and then I just put it on my wood that I want to cut for the roof, and then I just marked it with a pencil and then cut it out with a jigsaw, and that's the finished result. And that's the bit that's slotting in into the cab locker. So I've used it for this, just the front bit so far, and it's worked out nicely. It's turned out really well. Done both sides. Right, I've test fitted it in, obviously once it's screwed up, and the curvature isn't actually too bad either. It's a bit better than I thought it was. going to be. Obviously it does need to go up a bit more, look. But what I'm not happy with is I'm not happy with this. And maybe I'm being fussy. I don't know, maybe I am. Tell me in the comments if I am being fussy. But I didn't know how to cut that. I just cut it square really. If I'd have known, I could have profiled it a bit more, and even if it had a curve on it there, it wouldn't look so bad. Even with this bit of trim in it, you put this bit of trim in, and obviously that will be glued. But I just don't like that. And I'm going to pack it out with a bit more carpet, but I still don't think it's going to look good. There's not really anything I can do, because I don't have any more of this. I've cut all the pieces. I've cut all the pieces for the rest, and I've used it all up. Alright, I've went back in and I've trimmed a little bit off, very small amount, and give it a bit of a curve. Can you see that? It just looks a little bit better. It's a little bit softer looking there. It's not so harsh. But I'm happy with this scribe. This is really nice. I've just got to trim a little bit out here for these wires and there, so I don't drop the wires. But overall, that'll be alright. Yeah, I'll put a bit of carpet in there, probably a bit of extra carpet, pack it out with a bit of carpet, and then that will fill that gap a bit more then. I just need to trim off a bit on the inside because it's coming through too much. Probably take another maybe 10 mil off, maybe 15 mil all along in there. And then I don't know, maybe I should carpet this on top. That's not a bad idea, is it? Carpet it so you can't see the wood on the inside. You know, when you open the door, you don't want to really see that bit of wood. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that actually. Mark a line on there and then carpet up to that line. I've got loads of bits of carpet. A bit of scrap carpet will be fine for that. Offcuts and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So now, after that test fit, it's time to put some Osmo oil on now. I've just gave the edges a bit of a sand, got it nice and tidy. And I'm going to put some Osmo oil now on all of these pieces of wood, and I'm going to let them dry, and then I'm going to crack on with a few of the little bits. So I'm going to do that little bit of carpeting up around the top of the cab locker. That's what I'm going to do next actually, after I've done the Osmo oil. Could really do with a nice big workbench. I did try and clear the garage out a little bit, try and make some space, but it didn't really work like I was planning. I was hoping to make enough space I could make a table inside. I've still got too much stuff in there. I'll have to make do. While I left those panels to dry, I decided to get on with another little job. I wanted to make some extra beams to go lengthways across the roof, just to give an extra bit of support for the 4mm ply, as I was just concerned that it might be too thin and it might sag a little bit. So what I did is I actually got myself a Kreg jig, which is a pocket hole tool, and that's how I decided to attach those beams going lengthways to the ones going widthways. Before I used my pocket hole jig on the pieces that I cut though, I did do some test pieces, well, test holes in some test pieces, as you can see, with all the varying results. Obviously that's what you don't want. That's kind of where I ended up there. I wanted a nice solid bit of wood there to be able to join there. But yeah, you really need to do that. If like me you're a novice and never used one of these before. I've never used a pocket hole tool before. I did buy a cheap one from eBay and it was absolutely useless. You couldn't even clamp it. When you tried to clamp it, it just kept sliding around because it was made out of aluminium. It was totally useless. And it never came with a drill bit like this. You've got this special drill bit and it's got a little collar on it, and it's designed specifically for the pocket hole jig, and this collar is your depth collar so that it doesn't go too far into the wood. So let me just tell you something about this one that I've bought. I have bought the original. This is like the original tool Kreg jig they call it. Now this one I bought it off Amazon and it said 12 to 38 mil, I think it was 38 mil, was what this can pocket hole into. So that's obviously the thickness of your wood. Hang on, I'll show you what I mean. I'm not trying to teach you to suck eggs here, but anyone that doesn't know, because there is people that don't know this stuff, that's your depth, like your thickness of your wood. So I'm using 12 mil. So I got this because it said 12 mil, but on the actual tool, I don't know if you can see it, it says 13. And in the actual case, I'll show you without everything falling out. There, look, by my finger there, 13 mil as well. And that is so you can put the drill bit in. The drill bit goes in there, obviously not attached to the drill, and you adjust the collar using that little guide that I just showed you on there. And it only goes minimum 13 mil, but it does say 12 mil on Amazon, which is a bit of an issue if you've only got 12 mil wood. We don't have 13 mil wood. Well, I've never seen 13 mil. We get like 12, 18, 15, 18, 9, 6 and 3, pretty much. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong, I don't know. I've never seen 13 mil plywood in the UK. So I had to just test it a little bit, because when I set it to 13, thinking what difference will a mil make, those test pieces I showed you where it had basically, where is it? I don't know which holes it is now, but basically it was, might have been that, it could have even been that one, I don't know which one it was. I think it was that one actually. Look, it literally left that bit, and when you look at that, it's like weak. It was just weak, it was no good. So I had to have a mess around with it and try and get it just right, which is where I think I am now with that. And I've done them pieces because I'm happy enough. I've tested it. Also, what I did is I also got a piece onto another piece of wood and tested it, screwed into a scrap piece using these pieces, because that's also important to do, because when I did that originally, the screws came out the other side. So I've had to mess around with the depths of the collar and everything on there. So that's just in case you don't know. I'm just trying to give you a bit of help from what I discovered as I was trying to use it. So as you can see, I've now got them all done. Apart from these ones, because they're for the back, but because I haven't finished the back area to cover that bit of wiring, I may have to trim some off this, so it's not worth pocket holing them yet. I'll do them when I'm ready to fit them. But now I can put these beams up on the roof and start getting the panelling on. What I'm going to do before I put these up is I'm going to put some Sikaflex on the back of these beams so that it sticks to the roof, so the wood doesn't flex. And I know that this isn't really structural, the insulation, but I just don't want the wood to move at all, that's all. And it's only going to be holding 4mm ply, so it's not like there's going to be any weight on it anyway. And really, these beams are only just a little bit extra so I can screw the 4mm ply into, so that it doesn't, just in case it sags a little bit. I don't know if it will, so it might not, but I don't really want to put it all up and then risk it. So I just thought if I put some of this on, and just put some blobs on, look, and I'm going to stick it up. And then that will help just to stop it from sagging. Really raining now. I've also put some wood glue in there as well, just to strengthen that joint up a little bit. But as I said, this isn't going to be weight bearing anyway. I'm going to bolt my cupboards to these, so when I have a cupboard going across there, I'll bolt it I'll screw it into them. So not bolt, sorry, screw it into those. That's really the only one I've really got to think about, because that's going to be the biggest cupboard going there. That's only going to be a little cupboard. There's only going to be a small one there. So I'm just going to have to do what I said. Just make sure that I bolt it, screw it into there. But I've got all these fixings on here, so it'll be fixed on there anyway, solid to the metal. That'll be taking the most of the weight. And then, like I said, if I fix to there and there, right, after some messing around, I got that piece up. And what I've done for now, to put the curve in the roof, I've just scribed a piece of scrap wood. Same on this side. Just to hold that in place, because that's what I think I'm going to do going forward, to hold this curve up. Although I might bring it down a bit. Because I'm going to have a cupboard there anyway, so the cupboard will be scribed or a piece of wood. I'll probably have my screen there. Whatever that is, that's going there will be scribed to this line to keep this in place. And that's what I've had to do there, look. For these bits. I've got some trim to go in there as well. I bought these screws for the roof. Basically I bought these 16mm screws. Because my roof battens are 12mm and my ply lining is 4mm. And they've gone in nicely, look. So this bit, I've just test fitted this bit, and yes, measure twice, cut once. Well, I measured twice, and look what I did. I cut it too wide somehow. I don't know how I did that. I've got no idea, but I did. But luckily the cover, the fan cover covers it, but just, you can just see that very little corner there, but it's going to get covered anyway. This whole thing's going to get covered with another material. But this is the other issue I've got at the moment, look. It's not sitting square. So I'm not sure whether to scribe that in and get that to sit flush for my OCD, or whether to just leave it, because you're not really going to see it, because I'm, like I say, I'm putting a cover in. And what I'm actually planning on putting on there is it's similar to a thing called Surf Deck. It's an EVA foam. I think it's EVA foam. I'll have to double check that. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. If I'm right, I won't. And it's used on boats and stuff, so it sort of simulates like yacht decking, but it's waterproof, durable and really lightweight. So that's what I'm planning on using up there, unless something else comes to mind better than that. I have looked at the PVC wall, like cladding stuff, showers. You can get one that looks like acoustic paneling, but I don't want to use acoustic paneling. I was originally going to use that, but I'm not using that because I just think that it's quite heavy as well, and it's also not mildew or mold resistant. So I don't really want, I don't really like the idea of in between those slats. It's like a felt material that's not mold or mildew resistant, and condensation in the van, cooking and all that lot over the long term. Not really a great combination. So waterproof roof will be a lot better. You may have also noticed I've had my ears lowered, as my dad used to say. Yeah, I got a haircut in between making this video. This video is a bit all over the place. I think it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. I've been doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then I've had to jump on another job, and then I think I've even gone away halfway through doing this roof, I'm sure. I can't even remember. It's been over a period of a couple of weeks I've been doing this roof, because I've been doing a bit, and you'll find this out when you're doing your van build. You go to do a job, you're all ready to do it, and then you start it, or you go to start it, and you go, I need to do that first. You realise you need to do 4 other jobs before you can do the job that you actually wanted to do. So you end up doing a bit of this and a bit of that, just trying to get these little jobs done so you can get the original job done that you wanted to start, if that makes any sense. You'll understand. You'll understand. So if the videos kind of seem a little bit out of sync, that's why. Different clothes, different haircuts, that kind of thing. Why is that not gone up there now? You do really need two pairs of hands for this. As in, like, somebody to help you. Because it's quite tricky. There we go. It's in place. Some screws in it there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. That's a nice tight fit there as well. Wow. I'm impressed with that. There's a little gap there. There's a little gap there. I know I'm covering it. That's going to drive my OCD crazy while before it's covered. There's a gap, look. See the silver underneath. I think I'm just going to stop faffing about and get some screws up in it. There's a lot there though. What I did, I didn't put the cable back through. I'll take all the screws out and do it again. Bollocks. I've marked out there where the beam is going across. Remember them beams I put in? So I've got a screw in my mouth. Hold on. I've got a screw in my mouth because I was going to put another one in. Let me take the screw out. You won't be able to hear me. And I'm glad I put them in because, yeah, it's quite well, it's not really flexy, but you know what I mean. Look. Can you see that little flex in it? That's probably just me being anal, isn't it? But yeah, because it's only 4mm, I had a feeling it might have a bit of flex in it, as in not rigid like a, you know, maybe a 6 or a 9mm that somebody might use. I'm just trying to keep the weight down, you see, up here, because this doesn't weigh anything. It's like air. It's that light. But yeah, those beams are a good idea. Well, we're on another day now because I've had to mess around trying to sort this area right here with this wiring loom. If you've been watching previous videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The wiring loom, the van wiring loom, that's just been the bane of my life. It's just been in the way of this whole bloody build. Every time I try to do something, I think this flipping loom's in the way. So I've had to come up with something. I've had to make something, box section to box it all out, and I've had to be messing around with wood, and it's just took me ages, and I haven't been able to do that last bit of roof up there because I need to get this back bit done first. So let me show you what I've done there. Right, I've got you on the bed, so don't fall off. What I've had to do is I've made this, I don't know what you call it, I've used Sikaflex to put this on. That was an absolute pain to do. That's why this is so much mess, because every time I tried to hold it in place, it started to slip down. And I was trying to hold it up and there's no way of clamping it in place. But anyway, I've done that, and I've had to make these sort of curved pieces here. And this is the plan. To box it in with that, right? And then I've cut an access hole here so I can get to the light, you know, the brake light in there, in case I need to change a bulb or anything. Not quite sure how it comes off, so I just needed to allow access because I think that's what that's for. So I'm going to make a piece of wood to go over there, carpet it, probably Velcro it on there or something like that. But this is all going to be carpeted. I'm going to insulate this, and then I'm going to carpet all of this into this, and then I'm going to put the roof on. So I've got to get this piece on, so I've put that on. I will have. I've just I've just Sikaflex those blocks on, just so that's not flexing there, look, because it was flexing in. And for that section there, I've bonded this piece of wood, roofing battens. I use roofing battens, various bits there, as you can see. I'll tape that up there, and then I've made this piece. I've had to sort of be fettling it and messing around with it and tweaking it and putting bits in. I mean, that I've had to angle that down slightly, just so. See if we can do this one-handed. So when that bit's on at the back, I'll try and do it one-handed. It's quite challenging. That's basically how it's going to go on. Look, it's going to be bolted in there. I'm going to bolt it at the top, and this is going to be covered in Alcantara to match that down there, and then that back bit will be carpeted, and that bit's made now. And what I've used these. They're threaded. I don't know what they are. Threaded. I don't know what you call them, to be honest. I've forgotten what they're called. I'll have to look on Amazon. I'll put it on the screen what they are, because I can't remember. But basically, you drill a hole in the wood. Look, that one, you can see that one better. Drill a hole in the wood, and then you thread them in using the Allen key. You just put that in, and then you can just thread that into the wood like so, and then you can then bolt. They're M6, so then you can bolt in your screw in your bolts like that. So I've got those in the wood, and I've got rivets in the metal. So that's how I'm going to do it. And then that also means I can take that panel off if I ever need to, if I need to get behind there. But before I fit it, I've got to do the insulation. But that's for another, I can do that another time. But for now, I'm just going to do this bit here so I can finish this roof off for you, so I can finish this video. Because it feels like this video has been taking weeks, because I've been messing around doing a bit of this, a bit of that, just so I can do the roof. It's a bit crazy, really. I've just done some insulation before I put the piece of wood on there. As you know, I love my insulation. Just put some on there, on that metal there, and I'm just going to fill the gaps with some dodo fleece. So I'm just going to do that now. I've started doing it, just thought I'd show you before I do it all. I mean, that's the bit I've got left, so I thought I might as well use it up if I can. This roll of the thermo liner left, that should do. That area and under there, no problem, under the box section, and then that'll be done. I'll have actually finished insulating my van, finally. It feels like I'm never ever going to get around to finishing the insulation, because I always find another little bit to do. Oh well, just insulate that bit. But yeah, I'll be so glad when I don't have to see any silver. Right, I've now got it on, and also what I've done is I've got a strip of 12mm ply, the lightweight stuff, and I've pocket holed it and used Sikaflex just to try to get it to that curve of the roof. It's only to screw the other side of a piece of ply to in there to hold a bit of that 4mm ply, so it's not, doesn't need to be really strong. But I just thought if I pocket hole it, which worked on them two, but those two didn't really take very well. They just kept spinning, they're not really strong. But again, it's bonded anyway, so it's all good. And that insulation is above there anyway, so it can't really pull the insulation down either. It's not going to anyway, is it? It's 4mm ply, don't weigh anything. Right, so after a lot of messing around in this blistering heat, because it's flipping hot today, I tell you. Oh yeah, got sweat pouring off my head. I've managed to get that back bit up. Now I've done that last bit of roof, so let me show you that. There you go. Got the back bit up, but I've only put 2 screws in. I put one there and one at the other end, and I'll tell you why. I was going to screw it all up, but then look at the gap there. I'm going to need a gap to put the carpet on, because I'm going to be carpeting that piece, aren't I? So I may have to take this back off to plane it to get a little bit more material off it, because it might be too tight against the carpet. So I need to I need to take it off anyway to carpet this piece. So I don't want to put too many screws in it, and it's literally holding up without the screws anyway, because it kind of bends to the curve of the roof and then it just holds itself in place because it's tight at either end. Look, it's tight up there. So yeah, and that back bit there, there's going to be a cupboard going across there, so we'll hide them looms, and that bit I showed you earlier will butt up to there nicely and should all work out nicely, and that's the plan anyway. So there's the roof in total. Let me get back out so you can see it properly. There you go. That's a bit of trim I've got to glue in because it's not glued in. Look, you can just pull it out. I've just got it in there for now. I think it's probably best if I do that last after I've put my roof covering on there. But I'm really happy with it, and doing those beams across there was definitely a good idea because that's now made that nice and solid, and there's no sag or anything in that at all. So 4mm ply, in my opinion, was a good choice. A lot of people said no, it's too thin, you should use at least 6. I didn't see, or I've not heard or seen anywhere online or any YouTube videos or anyone using 4mm ply. There might be people out there, but I couldn't see anyone. The thinnest I've seen people using was 6mm. So me being me, I had to try and do something a bit different. I'm just trying to keep weight down, you see. And you may argue that there's not much difference in the weight between 4mm and 6mm. And I've got the lightweight Garnica ply anyway. This stuff literally is like, it weighs nothing. It's like paper. You can literally hold it with one hand like that. It doesn't weigh anything. So I feel pretty confident, and I'm happy that I haven't added much weight up to the top. And that's been the goal with this build, not to have too much weight up top. Not to have too much weight at all. I'm trying to keep the weight down as much as I can. That's the whole sort of like, what's the word? Goal, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know what the word is. It slipped in my mind. I'm tired and worn out. I've just had enough. I'm starving, basically. I'm really hungry. I just need to get something to eat. So I think that's. I think I'm going to call it a day, and hopefully this video turns out all right. It feels like it's been a bit higgledy-piggledy and all over the place. So hopefully it gives you some entertainment and some viewing, especially for you people that are actually doing this same job as me. That's predominantly why you're going to be watching this video. So hopefully you found some use out of it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment below, let me know if there's anything I can help you with, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and bye.